I'm in camp number 3. That's me. Boy, I'm set up weird, but I got it set up. And then that was camp number 4. Young fella come and cook and staying in his van. And that's camp number 5. And they're staying here for the whole 14 days because they're traveling and they're just taking their time. Well, when you come past my camp, which I'm not building fire, the weather's warm here. So there was someone had left a lot of firewood in there, so I gave it to the neighbors last night. And you come on down. Oh, by the way, I'm camping right by the Ohio River. And at nighttime, you hear them in the day, but you don't pay it much attention. But at nighttime, you can hear like those tugboats that push barges or whatever. You can hear their motor, blah, 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 and it's not loud, but you hear it. And then every now and then they blow a horn, and it makes you think of a train, you know. And it's just, you know, woo woo, and it sounds like a train coming down a track a long ways off, and then it comes by. But down this side of this hill, you know, it's pretty far down. But that's the Ohio River out in there that you're seeing. It's pretty wide. But that's the Ohio River, and they really do use it for transporting. I mean, you think, you know, you think of they don't do that much anymore because of all the rigs, 18-wheelers and all. But when these come by, you know, they're hauling about as much as several 18-wheelers could haul down the highway, which that's all you see on interstates. Stuff's getting hauled all the time. But when one of those comes by, that barge is so big it makes the boat that's pushing it look small. But that's that out in there. And I'm up here. I'm a little ways from it, and this is really like goes down pretty steep all the way down to the river. And but it's big. The trees are hiding over half of it because of the angle I'm at. But they come through with some big stuff. But what I was wanting to show you was, it's called Buzzard Roost. Not buzzards with an S, but buzzard. And there it is. And it talks about, you know, Buzzard Roost is named for the birds of whatever, da 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 da. You can look it up. But what I liked was this right here. By the way, the Cherokee Nation gave turkey vultures the name peace eagle because, unlike the eagle, the turkey vulture does not kill its prey. So that's how come, I guess, this is named kind of for that area, and this Cherokee Nation. So I thought that was pretty cool. I never thought of a buzzard that way. He's just, I mean, I knew he cleaned up by eating the dead animals and things, but never thought of it that way. All right, I've had a cup of coffee this morning, and now I'm getting ready to go back and cook me some Spam and fry me a couple eggs. I've really enjoyed this trip. I've slowed down a lot. A lot of people said you got to take your time. Well, this morning I'm cooking bacon Spam and eggs, and I'm going to put them in a wrap. I'm going to have me a quick, easy breakfast this morning, and I'll make a cup of coffee to go with it. Got my Spam cooked, 3 slices on each wrap, and then I've got 3 eggs cooked, put egg and a half on each wrap. And right now I'm warming up the water to make my instant coffee. And then I'll sit right here and eat. I don't know what you call these rocks that look like they're stacked like this. But anyhow, I'm walking a path that's one of the trails And this is the kind of stuff I like, you know. It's amazing. See, I'm under it. All right. Good morning. I woke up this morning and I was taking my tent down, going to pull out. I'm not in a big hurry. I'm not going to go too many miles before I find somewhere to sleep again tonight. But when I was taking my tent down, is this a black widow spider? I've been here long enough that it's actually built a egg sac. Looks a little different than what I know a black widow looks like in South Carolina, but with that red on its back like that and all, it sure makes me wonder. Oh, Lordy. Well, I know one thing. I'm not going to kiss that thing, and I'm not going to marry her. All right, laters. Okay, this was next door to me, and their names is Russ and Angie. They're the ones going across, going west, camping different places. Thought I'd just take a little video, and this way maybe I can remember their names. Very nice people. Well, this morning I woke up a little late, slept from 9:30 last night to 8 o'clock this morning. That's a lot of sleep for me. And it rained almost all night. It sounded great. It was falling on the tent and all. And I'm here at Harrison State Forest. It's a horse trail. People come in and take their horses, and there's trails for them to ride on. But anybody can camp here. It's free. It does have running water, but it's not really drinkable is what I've been told. It's more for the horses to drink. But there's trash cans all along the way in front of the campsites. It's got a pit toilet. It's got a men and women's side for the pit toilet, and for free you can't probably beat this one. It's paved all the way to it, and it's really nice. I'm in Ohio, and I'm gonna take my time probably and head out, and probably head towards Pennsylvania. I've got a lot of ground to cover, but I'm not going to be in a hurry. I'll find somewhere to stay along the way if I have to. But my tent's over there in the blue, and this here was something that was built with a lot of tables under it just about 3 years ago. It says 2020 on it, and it was a donation, and it has several tables under it. So like if it's raining or something, you can go in there. That's probably where people get together and tell their horse stories. I don't know. And some people pulled out that was in this site right here. Back then, this one, they had their tent on the spur where you pull in, and they had enough room to park their truck, and they gave me firewood last night. They pulled out yesterday evening. They gave me firewood and stuff, and I thanked them, but I didn't build a fire. I'll just leave it for the next person. Anyway, I was going to see what that says. Dorothy F. Glover, Dorothy F. Glover, Pavilion 2020, and it's got horseshoes on each side saying Pavilion. So I guess that was a donation built for it. But there's picnic tables everywhere, where even places the people don't camp, there's picnic tables. Now there's not many people that I've seen here, but sometimes it must come a lot. Oh, and trash pickup came through yesterday and empties all the trash cans. And last night, while I was sitting under the pavilion, I was just sitting there real still just before the rain come, and it was almost too dark to see, but I could still see. And a raccoon came up out of the woods, and I just stayed still. I didn't move, and it come right on up, came right up to me almost, and then it started raising its head up and down. I mean, it was, if I'd have just leaned forward real fast, I could have touched it, but it would have jumped, I'm sure. But it leaned up and down, and I didn't move, and it was sniffing there, and it turned around and ran back to the woods. Where this morning, the trash cans are tied down. The guys, when they empty the trash and all, you know, you're supposed to tie them down to keep the raccoons from tearing up the trash. But this morning, the lid was flipped up, leaning off of it, still tied, but they got in there anyway. So anyhow, last night it rained. There's water everywhere, you know, because that's what happens when it rains. But I'm getting ready to take the tent down and stuff. Probably take me a couple hours. I'm not in a hurry. I've had coffee this morning, but I'll probably eat something before I pull out. So let me get ready to get out of here. I made it here today to Pennsylvania. I'm about 22 miles from the Kinzu Dam in Warren, Pennsylvania. It's down under Jamestown, New York. I'm camping down a dirt road that's a long dirt road, and it's the forestry. And about every half a mile, once you get about 6 miles in, about every half a mile, there's a place like this just comes off the road, and you can set up camp. And I've seen several down. I came from the back way through, and I seen several, and there's only a few people camping. And I pulled in at one or two. Well, I pulled in at two of them, and wasn't really as happy because it looked like if it rained, I might get kind of half stuck. And I've seen a big old camper backed up in one with a truck. And anyhow, I'm gonna bed down here for tonight, and then after tonight, I might take up camp. I hate to leave it. This is a long road coming in, and I hate to leave it here and go scouting, but there's some things in Warren, Pennsylvania I want to see because years ago, when I was a little teeny kid, I lived in Warren and on the only brick street in town, and I just want to go through and kind of look at that stuff. And there's a creek halfway between the Kinzu Dam and Warren where my mama used to take me when I was small. And she's got a picture of me standing on some rocks out there in a little old tight, teeny bathing suit because I was a skinny fella. And I'll pull in and look at that. And I'm pretty sure it's still there. So if it's not, then I won't look at it. I'll just look at where it was. So anyhow, my trip that I'm taking this time is running me around through some places, and I'm seeing things and I'm meeting nice people, and that's up to date right for now. So later. Jake's Rocks picnic area overlook Allegheny National Forest. All right, well, if you ever look this up on the maps and want to go camping in Pennsylvania close to the Kinzu Dam, well, when you're coming in, if you type that in, you come on in this way to it, but instead of turning and going down the road to go to the trail, if you take a left, that's a highway, but it turns into a dirt road just around that corner good. And there's campings. They're far enough apart you don't see each other, and it's just camping for miles. I came in through the back way. I didn't come through this way. I wish I had. I was a lot closer to pavement, but I just thought I'd throw that out there. Well, I made it to the Kinzu Dam. Here's the thing. When I was a little kid and I came to it, I mean, it looked big and awesome, and it's still, you know, big and awesome. And I'm pretty sure a few miles down Warren, Pennsylvania, are probably using electric from it. But the thing is, when I pull up on the front of the dam there, that little building that's boxed up, it says Kinzu Dam, 1965. Well, no wonder it looked so new when I was a little kid. You know, it was all shiny concrete and just beautiful. And now, you know, it's had a few years on it, but it's still here. and it's still working. But I'd hate to be living down there in those houses down there, because that river gets real small. And up here, I'm pretty sure it used to be just as small as that down there, except they dammed it up and let the water come up. Well, if that ever busted, and we lived in town right by the creek that it goes through, yeah, when I'm down there, I hope it don't bust while I'm looking around. But I'm pretty sure everybody thinks like that, and if you live there, you finally forget about it till the day comes. Anyway, let me keep on going. Well, I found a brick street that I lived on in Warren, Pennsylvania when I was 6 years old. And it looks about the same as I remember, except, let's see. I just remembered more shade down the street, but other than that, see, it's a nice brick. They're getting, they're not as level as they used to be, I'm sure. But I was young and I can't remember everything. But that there's the house I used to live in. And it's not as big as I remember when I was a little kid, but it's a pretty good sized house. And then my dad worked with a tree service, and all these buildings back here behind it was actually, they had trucks and things and equipment parked back here. And see, I remember this where I'm walking now as being super steep and flying down with a bicycle, but it's nowhere near as steep as I thought. But anyway, the office was in that corner, and then the trucks was here and out here. Well, I'm in New York State. It says right here, you know, it says the State of New York Department of Environmental Conservation. Anyway, it's site of CCC Camp Seneca. And then it says right here, September the 14th, 1935 to June the 3rd, 1941. Anyhow, I'm back there in the back. I'm the only one here, and it is a long, pretty bad dirt road. It's been raining. Rained all night last night, and that's before I got here, but the roads let me know that even though they got rocks on them, places it's like a clay mud under it. So anyway, I'm way off the beaten path, but I do have phone signal. But this is a long ways back in here, so I don't know exactly how long I'm going to stay. I just know that unless I absolutely have to, I'm not leaving until I pack up to leave. And I think in about day after tomorrow, it's going to start pouring rain. And if I stay 2 days here, I can't pull out on the day that it's going to be pouring rain. So I might stay 3 days, but I've only got a little over 1.5 gallons of water. It's like I never have enough water. So it's almost impossible to haul enough when you're on a motorcycle to stay away from getting more water somewhere. But anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and fix a bite to eat. It's about 5:30 in the evening, and I think it's Wednesday. I'm not even sure if it's Wednesday or Thursday. That's sad, isn't it? But when I'm not working, I don't keep up with the days too well. All right, I'll get back on here later. Well, good morning. It's Saturday morning, and I'm outside of Harrisville, New York, up a road called Mud Road, and it's about 0.8 of a mile up it. It's a gravel road, and it's got gravel on it, but then it goes down through dips where there's going to be places where when it rains, The water that comes down out the mountains just come through the road, and I see dirt there with not much gravel. But so anyway, I've made it up to here, and I'm going to head on north. But I got here yesterday afternoon in the evening time, enough time after I set the camp up, and then I, unloaded the stuff off the bike and went back to town and bought a few things, like an extra gallon of water. I had a little over 1.5 gallons, but I bought another gallon, and I bought something to eat and stuff. And because it's supposed to rain today, so I'm going to be probably staying. It's easy sometimes to say, oh, well, I can beat between the rain, and I'll load the bike up and I'll head down the road, and maybe it won't rain and I can stop under a bridge. But other than the fuss with all that, I'll just stay here the day. If it's not raining, I'll get out the tent and work myself around and see things. And if it is raining, I'll just bed up and stay in the tent. And so what I was going to say, though, at these sites, and they're way apart, if a person was camping at the next one, unless they're hooting and hollering real loud, you wouldn't hear them, because they're really spaced far apart. But every one of them, if you look in this back corner, there's a stained real wood outhouse. But actually, when you go inside, it's got the wood top like the old outhouse, but it's got a toilet seat on it. And it's actually one of what I call a pit toilet. Some people call them a privy or something like that. But they come and clean it out. And but with it made out of the wood that it is, it's stained on the outside, the inside's not. And it's that cedar maybe, or cypress. It puts that smell of the wood out, and I think that actually keeps them from smelling bad inside. And it keeps, seems like mosquitoes aren't bad in it, which is airtight. 2 little windows on the sides that's screened in with screens so they can't come through. But with my motorcycle, it's not made for this off-road stuff. You can kind of plainly see it's not. It's low to the ground. It's not made for it. And I went to another one, and it said that it was paved all the way, and that, and it was, it just bragged about all kinds of things. And got down there, and it was really a lie. And the person down below had wrote, "This is not true," and blah, blah, blah. And then, then other people said, "It's a great place to camp." So I took my chances, and I went there, and it was really, really hard to get down in there too and all. And then I knew it was supposed to rain today, so I left there, because I knew if it rained, there's no way I could have got out until I waited for it to dry. So I just thought I'd give a little update. Harrisville, New York, just outside of it, about 6 miles, and up a little road that's called a gravel road. About 8/10 of a mile up, that was the first one, but I'm at the second one, so I'm probably about almost a mile. And I don't know, I'll see if you can see how it goes down the hill and all. And when it gets all the way down there, a lot of times there'll be a place where the water comes across. So for those bikes that's made, that's on-road and off-road, be a lot better than taking a regular cruiser and coming in. But you can do it, but it's a lot harder than it would be with a bike like that. All right, laters. Okay, well, guess what? Right after I got off of here a while ago, talking about where I'm camping and stuff, it just started pouring rain, and I've checked it out, and now it's after 12:30, and it's showing rain all day. I looked at the radar, and it's all the way to Toronto, Ontario, coming across, and so I'll be stuck for the rest of the day. So I'm going to end out this session of doing videos and go ahead and post it as soon as I can get a chance to update it. So anyway, hope everybody's had a good week.
I've had a great one. It's been different, you know, and I've enjoyed that. So later,